Sigma Male Diaries Podcast. Let's get on with it, y'all.
Let's go.
We can relax, have fun, get a good laugh, get information, and enjoy the show. I mean to do what it do, baby. Sigma Male Diaries.
How's it going? This is Nigel. I'm back at it again. I have a question, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a question of not only theory, but a question of facts. A lot of people look on it based upon hopes, or let's just say faith. Is there really somebody for everybody? And the reason why I ask this question is because a lot of people have certain standards, preferences, They like a man to be a certain type of height, build, physique. Same thing with men. They like a woman a certain type of way, especially regards to her femininity, her beauty, her cooperativeness and things like that. So I hear a lot of people talk about having these so-called options. And, I just sit back and I think, because I become appalled and flabbergasted sometimes, because if you really think about it, like, do you really know your sexual market value place? Do you really know, like, how you are, actually and literally valued when it comes to dating? Because I see, especially when it comes to social media. And these are one of the things that makes dating so complicated, is because when you deal with a certain guy or a certain woman, they have social media, Instagram, Facebook, what does they say? They call it Bumble, all this other stuff, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't pretty much deal with social media to that degree, whereas I'm on dating apps and stuff like that, because I don't do that type of thing. But in actuality, like, do you honestly believe and feel that there's someone for everyone? Like I said, due to standards, whether someone is willing to accept you as a boyfriend or girlfriend, someone that they are vetting for marriage and stuff like that, to that nature. I had made a podcast not too long ago, and I'm not sure if any of you out there, are Kevin Samuels fans, if you guys somewhat have a disdain towards him, or whatever the case may be, if he rubs you the wrong way. And I am aware we're not supposed to do certain things on here. So what I've done was I just watched the video, and it did kind of like make sense to me. Whereas when it comes to a woman looking for a man, far as dating or a potential husband, his income is one of the contributing factors, right? For example, most women, today's woman, the modern woman, prefer a man to be making at least what she makes or more, to that degree. Versus a man, he will date down, or they would say he would marry down, or whatever the case is. He's willing to date a woman to marry her. Let's say he make $150,000. She could make $30,000, $26,000. His main concern is her femininity, her beauty. He value her womb, whether she's childless, whatever the case is. Cooperative, submissive. We get into all those things of what traditional men want. Obviously, traditional women. But then you have some people who come in, they call them GMOs, genetically modified women. The now modern woman, the woman who, she's a nice modern woman, but she try to pass herself off as a traditional woman. And we call those women chameleons. But then the standards comes into play, whereas, like I said, because see, for example, men are very simple. And a lot of women weren't really raised to understand what it is that a man wants, what it is that a man's need, what it is that a man value within a woman. And a lot of this stuff is bypassed until, the danger zone, which is between the ages of 28 and 32. That's when most modern women decide at some point. That's when they want to settle down. But this comes after multiple failed relationships. This comes after being a single mom, having how many ever baby daddies she may have and how many children. But the scenario is this. When you're dealing with a man that's of value, and this man is aware of his worth, that whole dating scheme, because Most women aren't aware that men controls relationships and men controls marriages. Women controls who they sleep with. That's the only thing that a woman has as far as leverage over a man is her beauty, who she can have sex with, all these other things. But a lot of women do waste their valuable years where they call themselves just having fun. This hot girl summer, this city girl stuff. But then they get upset by the time they get in their mid 30s, early 40s, when men are bypassing them that made it to be successful men. Because most men, we hit our financial stride between the ages of 45 to 55. At the age of 55, that's when we would hit our financial peak. And it's either do or die at that moment between the ages of 45 and 55. And men start to figure themselves out between the ages of 25 to 35. That's when the man really get in the groove of things. He probably got done graduated college, done what he wanted to do and realize, hey, listen, I just want to be my own boss. I want to work for myself. As a man gets older and he consistently works on himself and become more of value, becoming successful and doing the things he's supposed to do, that man has more options than the typical man, because women outnumber men by a vast majority. So if there are let's say a demand of men, and that let's say if they earn between 100,000 and 40,000, right now you're going between 10% to 5% of high income earning men. Those men, the women that they are looking for, those will be extraordinary women. They won't be the average woman. They won't. If she is an average looking woman, then he sees something that's in her that he really truly values. Like I said, men would date down. That's just how simple we are. But everybody get into this whole thing, well, if I want somebody, I can just easily get somebody, right? Or, well, the reason why I'm single because I choose to be. And a lot of people try to pull this wool over your eyes so you can believe this fairy tale. And the reason why they're single is, most times because everybody knows it's at some point, and it's by nature. Women love companionship. They love relationships, but they choose the wrong men. They become hurt, damaged. They blame other people. Don't take accountability, and it goes the same for men. It's not just the women, but it's the majority of women say, "Hey, I have options." And in reality, you kind of sit back and look, well, if you had the options, are these men, these options, are they asking you to marry them? Same thing goes, for men. You know what I mean? But these men literally have the options, though. They can say, hey, listen, this is who is going to be my wife. This is who I'm going to establish and build my legacy with, right? And a lot of women get mad at these guys. For example, I'm 45. And if I were to, let's say, find a woman that's 26, 27, right? Now, this is the thing. He just want a younger woman because she don't know that much. She's naive or whatever. But this is the case. I'm 45, right? If I still wanted children, right? Why would I date a woman that's over the age of geriatric pregnancy? Why wouldn't I date a younger woman if I wanted 2 or 3 kids? Why wouldn't I date a woman that's less, I'm going to be honest, that's less damaged, but now there are a lot of younger women, man, that's out there. But I'm saying for a man that actually knows how to vet a woman, though, properly. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just this guy that is hopping out there to snatch it up anything. No, this guy has, a nice network of people. He knows somebody that knows somebody, because these guys not looking for women on social media. And that's just how it is. A lot of people look at social media as a big gateway to cheating and all this other stuff. And I mean, they say it ruins relationships, but it's the people that actually ruin their relationships by doing these things. Then you have to deal with certain people who dated certain people who allowed them to be on these platforms. And I say allowed because, we all have a choice. But when you look at the situation as this whole together thing, this, it's just a us thing. It's not a me, or I thing. What's so important to have those things if it's not pertaining to a business? Some women would say it's controlling. Some women would say, it's insecurity. But a lot of us know men are very territorial. And 9 times out of 10, it's very hard if you choose the wrong person. It's very hard to protect that person from themselves. And that's the whole thing. It's about, like, for example, this person allowed me to have this, social media account, or this person never had a problem. That person never said anything. But when you come to a man that has standards and boundaries, though, see, now there's the problem. Now here comes this small dick energy and all this other stuff. You see what I'm saying? All this shaming, bashing, insulting, this whole guilt trip. Boy, you just insecure, or you must not be a man, a real man. I mean, now you bump into all these, these situations. So now here comes the whole personality of a person, though. Now you have to think about all these things. Now there's really somebody, like I said, for everybody, because each is own. Everybody isn't everybody's or everyone's cup of tea. Is anybody out there understanding what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Because I want to know if I'm making a mistake. I want to know if I'm wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. Is it just I'm just out here babbling out, running my mouth, just hoping to catch someone's attention, whatever the case is. But the facts are the facts, though, ladies and gentlemen. That is a false hope to actually believe that there is. Now, if you look at a pool or a group of people that say, like, there's a lot of people, dating, depends on the ratio of people that's dating compared to the people that are possibly married, that's not in a dating market at all. They're just sitting back. Okay, I can understand that whole thing. But once again, if women outnumber men by a vast majority, it's like you go to some towns, it's 12 women for every one man, up to 17 to 1. When you get to cities like Miami and all that stuff, New York, California, you know what I mean? So, I mean, how is that theoretically possible? And how long are you going to believe that? Are you willing to compete? Are you willing to share? Ladies, are you willing to share? That's the thing. If the type of men that you're looking for are in demand, most women want provider males. So you're not looking for a guy that's making 50,000, 40,000, 60,000, even though those men are suitable for you and you are suitable for those men. And not to be funny, especially if you are a single mom. You know what I mean? Making 75,000, 100,000 yourself, it wouldn't even matter. A man that's making $60,000 is a man that's literally for you. And I have these conversations a lot, and people want to say, "Oh, you're a misogynist." No, I'm going to tell the truth. It is what it is, because I refuse to be the type of man that I am doing what I'm doing, you understand what I'm saying? To allow someone to make me feel guilty, or to shame me into saying, "Okay, I accept you," because that's not going to happen. So, like I said, it is what it is. A lot of people don't like the truth, and I'm, as a black man, when I tell black women the truth, and I'm just going to say it is what it is, they get mad and upset. But I don't care about that, because if you're not willing to grow, if you're not willing to listen to the type of men that you want, you feel as if you don't have to lead because this man don't have that, or he's not up to your standards, then you're going to die alone. And if women are in fact dying alone in the African American community, if you're 45 and I'm 45, and let's say I want a younger woman based on me making, let's say, 6 figures or high 6 figures or whatever the case is. I'm just saying, for an example, why would I date a 45-year-old woman? Why would I date a 35-year-old woman? And a lot of men aren't bold enough to really let you ladies know this, is that if you're not going to be more cooperative, especially in your younger years, you're going to have a problem when you get around the age that I am now, and thinking that a 45-year-old successful man that owns 5 businesses is going to want a 45-year-old woman that has 4 or 5 kids. Now, I come on this platform to let everyone know the truth. A lot of men aren't going to say anything. I mean, I'm not worrying about any of my businesses failing, because, it is what it is. I work hard for mine. So it's not like I'm going to have any consequences or repercussions behind anything I say. I'm going to be very respectful. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to let you ladies know what it is. Provider males, we have a different ballgame. This is not your average Joe type of thing. However, I advocate for men, regardless of their average salary earning men. Less than average, they are men. And a lot of men are emasculated due to their income, due to their height, due to how much they weigh, what they don't have, who they live with, all that other stuff. And then when these same men become successful for making multiple sacrifices, a lot of women want to get mad and say, "Oh, back then you wasn't acting like that. You was trying to get at me, and now you got here and there, whatever the case is. But yeah, it's like that. And yes, that is how it is. Because you had your choice. When that man was literally suitable for you, you want to run after Ray Way and Pookie, and after they had multiple women chasing them down, you were just an option to those men. And then you try to flip it and turn around on a good guy, and think you're going to have some type of successful relationship or become a wife in the end? You out your motherfucking mind. It is not happening. And I don't know why a lot of men just don't speak up. I mean, we have a voice for a reason. We built this country, and men, it's different, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. Unless a man wants a legacy, we don't need women to survive. We don't need any of that, because if a man say, hey, I don't want a legacy, that's like, he's not having any kids. He don't want kids. He don't even trust being in a relationship or anything. So that man is not losing anything. He made a sacrifice for a major gain, but in the end, once he die off, then yeah, everything he worked for is gone with him. You understand what I'm saying? That's the downside to that. That's the downfall. But the older a man becomes, the more valuable he is. The older a woman gets, the less valuable, ladies, you become to a man. That's just how we see it in the dating market, looking for wives. You can't impregnate a 45-year-old woman and say, hey, I want 4 or 5 kids, unless she have triplets at one time. And then you have to face her, possibly dying or something. But people say, well, I know this one lady. Listen, let's stick to the generalization here. And I'm not going to allow anyone to move the goalposts, because the things I speak on are the things that are need to be made known and understood. It's not the fact that I'm being mean. It's not the fact that I'm being a narcissist. In fact, I have to be medically diagnosed or clinically diagnosed to be called a narcissist in the first place. I'm highly far too intelligent to be one of those type of people. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I bring these things, to you guys' attention, because the unity that we lack in the African American community is simply because of how it is with this whole 50-50 thing. Now, I support feminism. I believe that women's rights should be as equal as a man's rights, as far as the laws, as far as, work opportunities, employment, and owning their own businesses and stuff like that. But it is never 50-50 in a marriage, ladies, because as men, leaders, providers, and protectors, that whole 50-50 stuff, that whole partnership shit, you get a beta male for that. Because there's no way in hell you're going to look for a provider male, a man that's to lead and provide and protect, but you want to say, hey, we're equals. Us, men, we don't roll like that. So either you get on our program or it's nothing, first of all. Because we made too many sacrifices and put ourselves last to even believe that we're going to pedestalize anything or say, hey, even if my wife was to work for me, we're still not equals. Because marriage is a business. I'm not going to say that I'm going to look at my marriage as a business, but this is a business deal. You sign the contract when you get married, and you sign the contract in the motherfucking divorce. So why should a man work that hard just for a year later? Let's say this woman is real good, she plot. Not to say that this man is in fear, but let's just say in general, because we have known these things who happen in real life. All it takes is 1 year and 1 day. That's it. And instead of New York, we don't have enormous here. And that's just how serious it is. A woman could walk away easily with $250,000 off the rip. And how is that fair to a man who worked, bust his ass for 6 or 7 years? Now all of a sudden he got to look at her facing a divorce now. Because a woman is looking at a man to make her happy versus her being fulfilled and being happy, within herself. For whatever reason. I could work too much. She could become bored or tired and was already aware of the things that I was already doing, but because she's feeling like she's comfortable now, she's in a good spot. Not to say it will happen, but 80% of women in the African community, 75%, of the women in the African American community, like I said, walk away from their marriages. They destroy their own homes. Like I said, it's an 80% divorce rate in our community. Like I mentioned earlier, 5% are initiated by men. So men are taking a big motherfucking risk. So is marriage, our relationships, like dating, simping? I mean, should a man just trick $150 here and there and say, okay, it's cool, you go your way, I go mine. You go back to whoever you go to, man. I'm over here. I'm maintaining my peace. Everything's in order. It is what it is. Why are men sacrificing relationships? Why do everybody feel as if it's somebody for somebody? Is that possibly true? Why does that even exist? Who believes that? Just let me know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to wrap it up. About to get ready to finish watching rest in peace Kevin Samuels. I was watching the Kevin Samuels video. He was on Expeditiously with T.I. Tip Harris, and I just thought about that reaction video that I done. So I just had to come out here and ask you ladies, like, are you being realistic based upon the type of man that you want? And fellas, have you made yourself valuable enough for a woman to literally respect you as a man and not have to deal with you on the terms of conditional and selective femininity? And ladies, if that is the case, how much does femininity cost? How much are you willing to charge a man for femininity? All right, that's my thing. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to wrap it up. Y'all have a blessed night. Y'all stay safe. And I'm out. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my talk, my podcast. Some of you might like what I say. Then again, some of you might not. But I don't give a fuck. And I really don't. But thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. And this is your host on Wisdom and your host on Sigma Male Diaries, Nigel McKnight. Y'all stay safe and be blessed.